Are you finding your confidence is perhaps being dragged by yourself and especially other people? They're impacting on you. They're knocking your confidence a lot and belief in yourself. Well, today I'm going to talk about the impact of a community on your confidence. And if you stay until the end, I have an extra special point for you then as well. Now, I've had some amazing people in my life. I'm very blessed. I'm very fortunate. I have some great friends and family. I would also say not all of them are wanting, and it's absolutely fine for them. They're absolutely entitled to live their own lives, have their own beliefs. You cannot change someone else's model of the world, someone else's standards, someone else's beliefs. Only someone else can. Yeah, I found people who just had fairly average standards and didn't want to push themselves as far as I was pushing myself. They would sometimes, not intentionally, but pull me down. They'd be like, why are you going to that? Like, why are you going to that event? Like, is that really beneficial? Is that really a good use of your time, money, and energy? Right? And the answer for me was yes. But I've also been in like entrepreneurial masterminds, and the people on there were really pushing me. They were like really growing. And actually, as a result, I felt I was growing. I've worked under a couple of really good entrepreneurs as well. And I felt I was growing by even working alongside them. So that can be the power of community and the people you connected to. As human beings, we adapt to our environments. And it's very cliche in personal growth, but I find I don't realize stuff until I live it and experience it truly. So just reflect about a moment in your life. Maybe at school, you were in a bad crowd and you became bad. I remember doing that at school, trying to be like a bad boy, bad behaved child and look cool and all those kind of things. And yeah, I'd hang out with some of the naughty boys, right? As it's called then. And yeah, then I got in trouble a little bit. I remember also hanging out with a couple of like growing up a couple of years later and then hang out with a couple of the good kids. And I was actually quite a well-behaved kid, and I'd go and study really hard to grow my grades. And actually, then that had an impact on kind of the environments I was working on in then. So as human beings, we adapt to our environment. So just pay very careful attention. You've probably heard it, hang out with alcoholics, you're going to become one. If you hang out with millionaires, you're going to become one, etc., etc. Healthy people, you become healthy. People who eat junk food and not exercise, you're going to become one of them as well, right? So how's it helping you by perhaps not having the people? Just be really honest with yourself. Don't just listen to this and say, I've heard it before. That's the most ignorant point of view I've ever come from. Like saying, I know this. You don't truly know something until you're living it at a deeper level. How's it helping you by staying in a certain place and looking at certain environments? If you're anything like me, it didn't do me any favors when I've not been in those environments when I've grown. Now, sometimes you got friends and family who mean well, and now and then you want to see, but be very careful who you spend the majority of your time with. All right. So let's go through a few steps. And it kind of goes back to my last episode, which was on a guide, but we're talking more about community and people you're around. The first one, know what you want. You've got to know what you want. Maybe this sounds as silly as it sounds. Maybe you want to be like a party animal, an alcoholic, and like I love to party in my 20s. I didn't obviously intend or want to be an alcoholic, but I love to party. So I used to hang out with people who love to party. That was my intention now. Then I still, I still do like to socialize. It's left with a tongue there. But when you hang out with people who, like when you know what you want, you've then got a little bit more clarity. But maybe you want to be super spiritual. You want to have people help you grow. I've done that, in the last few years, found communities online and offline that help me grow. So first of all, you've got to know what you want. The second question, where can I find people? Now, in this day and age, we have more opportunities than ever, online and offline, right? There's things like Meetup, which is a group. There's things like Toastmasters, public speaking group. There's like personal growth events. I went to Tony Robbins event this year. You can meet more people than ever, right? And then the third one, which is really, really key. What communities can I invest in? There's a phrase that goes, I remember my business coach has said, they pay for friends. I thought it was really interesting at first. And I thought, actually, some of the best friends I've made in the personal growth space have been in communities where I paid more money. And that's because they got a vested interest to be there as well. And you got the same values to grow yourself. I'm just going to call this out and be really honest, and it may offend one or two people, but I'm going to say it. When I've been into events where, maybe it was, and I know people can afford different things, but maybe people were, it was either free or very low paid. When they start pitching stuff or selling things, there's a lot of whinging and it irritates me, right? Not the pitching, because that's business, right? But when I'm in higher paid things, the communities around just understand it. They're like, that's part of business, and that's why they're successful. That's why, the people watching, that's why the people doing it are successful, right? Not every minute through the whole thing, but like I found when it's like a free event, people will cry and whinge even at the slightest pitch, right? So when I found I've invested more to be in higher level communities, like that's allowed me to have more of a transformation being around those people as well and form better communities as a result. Okay, so my final point is just go to as many personal growth events as you can. There's lots to go on, like Meetup. You can look at like Tony Robbins stuff. And just have a look, because if you just keep thinking about it, you're not going to change. So just try something, just try it, commit to something in the next month. What event are you going to go to that's going to help you to grow as a result? So that's what I've got for you today, talking about the power of community in your growth and your confidence. I appreciate you for being here. You're improving other people's lives by being the best you. And remember, you are in control of your own self-esteem and confidence.